Have you ever stopped to consider that retirement is touted as this thing on the other side of the rainbow, this pot of gold that we're all striving for? Have you ever stopped for a minute and just actually thought about what is retirement in its purest form? The answer I've come up with is that you stop actively working for money. Maybe you've got some rental properties or investments, or you've got enough cash that you don't care about all that. You just slowly pull cash out every month to pay yourself, and you're living the dream. But I find a lot of times when I talk to people who have retired, or I observe, even my own family who has retired, it feels very wasted and actually depressing, because the people that I've seen and witnessed firsthand, when they retire, they just stop kind of being who they were. They're still there, but they've lost this chunk of themselves, this work. And whether you're a long-term employee, whether you've owned a business, whether you're an investor, I believe what people crave most, aside from that security of a paycheck, if you're an employee, for example, is contribution, is community. And I find a lot of people, when they get out of the workforce, they don't replace that community. They don't replace that contribution. They just kind of cut it out of their lives. And now they're left with this gaping hole. And it starts to create almost a sadness, almost like a regret, or like a FOMO, fear of missing out. Because, well, now you wake up, you've got no boss, you've got no job, you've got no business to manage anymore. This is the dream, man. But you've also got nothing else to do. You have nobody to share conversations with. If you got a spouse, great. So what I urge everybody to do is, if you're moving into retirement, or maybe you're retired, or you're working, you're grinding, man, you are hustling, and you're delaying all the gratification in the world, and you're laser focused for a dream 15 years down the road, just maybe take a minute and think about, what is retirement? How am I going to create that? Is it really what I want to do? And maybe it is. And if you are very happy, content, completely fulfilled with waiting until you're 55, 60, 65, the truth is, nowadays, 2020 and beyond, it's probably more like 70, 75, or maybe you never actually get to retire. But make sure you're creating that life, and you're actively engaging in how you're going to create that life for yourself. Are you going to join a sports team? Are you going to join a community event? Are you going to join a club, a social? Are you going to sit on a board of directors for a nonprofit, or maybe another organization that you can sit there and add value? Maybe you get paid a little bit, but you're not doing it for the money. You want to add value and help. Whatever you do, I strongly urge people to contribute back, to really create fulfillment in your life through giving back. If you don't need to earn an income anymore, good for you, that's phenomenal. But give back. Reciprocity, pay it forward. I also have another suggestion. Consider for a moment that maybe the traditional retirement, in the traditional sense, is an outdated philosophy. This is not new and revolutionary. I'm sure you've probably thought or heard about this, especially since Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek came out probably, a decade ago now. Speaking of that book, I've been actively engaging in these mini retirements that he's talked about for probably about a decade, before I read his book even. I didn't invent this. I just thought it was a much better way to approach life, because I'm very passionate about what I do and projects I pick up or businesses I start. And I can't see a time in my life that I want to just quit or sell out and be like, boo, I'm done. I don't have to deal with this anymore. If I don't want to deal with something, then I try to tend to drift away from it, cut it out, do less of it, or get rid of it. So this thing about mini retirements, it really made a lot of sense to me. I started doing it actively, and funny enough, I read Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek about 7 years ago now. I was on a month-long holiday through Europe with my brother, and I was on a train in Germany, and I remember clear as day, because I'd never really been on a high-speed train, and I thought it was so cool. And I was like, hey, what are we going to do for 5 hours? I don't think I had a SIM card or internet, or I was trying to disconnect a little bit. And I brought a couple books, and one was his. And I remember just digesting it, right? Because he's a great author, and really is just able to relay messages and storytelling in a beautiful way. And I read this mini retirements, and as I'm reading the pages, I'm like, yes, that's what I do. That's what I love. That's what I want other people to do. And I was so happy with the way that he was able to convey that message, because I had a hard time articulating what I was doing and why I was doing it, and I felt like he did such a great job. So I urge you to read the book if you haven't. And I urge you just to maybe consider that there might be a different way and a better way to do what you're thinking of doing. Instead of getting, $1 million in the bank that then I can draw from for the rest of my life, maybe it's 500,000 or 600,000, and you take a year-long sabbatical when you're 40, and you travel the world with your family. Or maybe you don't travel, you have a staycation, but you work on your health, you work on, a project that you've been putting off, whether it's writing a book or learning an instrument. For me, it's guitar. And I'm confident I'll do it one day. It's become very low on the priority list, but that's something in the back of my mind where it's like, man, if I had more time to dedicate to something that was not as important as the tasks and the projects that I want to achieve, that's what I want to do, is learn guitar. Maybe you have a craft or something that you dabble in, but you really want to get better at. So that's a great opportunity. Take that mini vacation, do something while your health allows, while you've got the independence, while you've got the cognitive ability. For some of us, you've got the mobility, the health. Go, see the world. I urge you. I've been to 6 continents now out of 7. Haven't been to Antarctica yet. Excited to go someday, but it's not huge on my priority list. But I'm very excited to work the rest of my life because I'm doing things that I love, so it doesn't feel like work. And I urge you to find something that you love as well. And maybe you do work a 9 to 5. This is not a shout out to just quit your job, because there's a lot of great employers out there. You might love what you do, but nowadays, 2020, especially with all the technology we have, can you do your job remotely? Can you negotiate a contract? Can you negotiate a sabbatical that you take off, paid or unpaid, and maybe you negotiate a contract work placement with your employer? Maybe it's results driven, so you become 100% commission, or 80% commission, 20% base salary. And that way, you're really judged on the results you produce, not just another body kind of going through the motions of the day or the week. I can tell you as an employer, and I can tell you in 2020, there's a lot of organizations that are very open-minded to allowing this kind of adaptation. And think about what you could do with a year, or 6 months, or 2 years off. Really laser focused, dialed into your family, dialed into a project. Maybe you start a business. Maybe that's your opportunity where you say, look, this is what I'm going to do. Sink or swim, I don't care. I'm taking a year and I'm going to dedicate myself to doing this. So whatever it is, just ask yourself some questions instead of just going through the motions. Is working the next 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 40 years of your life straight really the best idea, and only taking a 2-week, 3-week holiday every year? I, for one, believe that it is not the way to do it. That doesn't mean I'm right, but I've traveled the world. I've taken 3-week, 4-week. We just got back from a 65-day trip through South America. Now I have an active business. I worked 4 days out of 65. So I'm not going to lie and sit here and be like, I did nothing and the business grew 100%. I'm still actively involved in the business, lesser and lesser every year. But 4 days out of 65. I'm extremely happy with that. And 2 of those days was actually helping my manager get out of his role because he quit and moved to another province. How would you feel if you had a business and your main contact, your main key player, just up and quit while you were on holidays? I show you the tactics, the tools, the tips. We can go into this on how I overcame that obstacle and struggle, because I'm not going to lie. It's not like he told me and I was like, all right, this is amazing. That's not the way I saw it for the first 15 minutes. But it lasted about 45 minutes. I took control of the situation. I analyzed what was going on, what the worst case, best case scenario was, went and crushed out a workout so I could get my mind right, get total clarity on the situation, and then move forward. He's a great guy. He decided to move. I'm very happy for him. He's pursuing his lifestyle. How could I be upset about somebody who wants to pursue their lifestyle? He did it in a respectful way. But that's not going to stop me from living the life I want the way I want. And I just urge you to take a look at the way you're doing things. Ask yourselves, is there a different way to do it? If you're having a hard time getting clarity, and maybe you're just working and you need the overtime and you're so busy being busy, take a day off. Take a paid day off. Take an unpaid day off. Take a vacation day. Lock yourself in a room. Surround yourself with inspiring things. The best memories, the things you love to do. Go for a workout. Get your head clear. And then spend some time really asking yourself questions. If I was 70 years old and I look back on my life, would I smile and feel a deep sense of fulfillment and joy with the decisions I made? Would I regret not taking that chance? Would I regret not taking that holiday and going to see, the Eiffel Tower and climbing to the top? I don't know if you can climb to the top, but you know what I'm saying. And now I'm 70 and, I've got a really bad knee and my hip and my ankle bug me and I can't, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But I had the opportunity when I was 50 or 40 and I decided not to because I let other things get in the way. Just take some time, carve out a space. I urge you to do it alone. I urge you to do it with total distraction-free environments. So if you need to go and rent a hotel room and leave the environment you're currently in, then do it. If you need to go to the mountains for a weekend. I just came back from a 5-day mountain retreat where I went deep into isolation. Nobody else there, just me. My wife and my son were here. And I needed it for me because in order to be a better version of myself, I need to get clear on who I am, what I want, what I don't want. Because I'm like you, I get busy. And the next thing you know, as you probably figured out by now, time flies. And that's why I think it's even more important to just take some time, think about retirement, think about your future, ask yourself what you want. Maybe you love your job and you have no intentions at all of quitting and you've got a very simple life and you're totally cool with, working until you're 65. If you honestly look back when you're 70 and would be very happy with that decision, then great for you. I know I wouldn't, and that's why I've created the life I have. And I just want to give a bit of perspective and just shake it up a little bit. Wherever you're at right now, it's not too late. You get 365 new opportunities every year to change something about your life, to improve something, to stop doing something, to do more of something. Take advantage of it. Stop beating yourself up that it took 10 years or 20 years or you're too old or you're not smart enough or you're not rich enough. It's all noise. It's all crap. It's just that little voice of fear that we tell ourselves to keep us at bay. Have you ever asked for an opinion or, had a great idea and then you ask people around you and you're gung-ho, ready to kill it. You're so excited. You want to start a new job. You want to move. You want to ask that guy or that girl out on a date. You want to go climb a mountain. You want to start investing in a certain company. And what do? You're excited. You're enthusiastic. So you inevitably share it with the people around you. And you've probably had similar experiences like I have. You don't get the response you were hoping for. Instead of, admiration and applause and encouragement, it's like, I don't know, man, what do you know about investments? You want to start a business? You can't even manage your life. And then, you start to shrink a little bit and you start to think, yeah, maybe they're right. Maybe it's better I just put my head down for another 10 years and just grind it out. If you ever use the word grind it out, that's a really big red flag to just take a minute and ask yourself, what am I grinding out? Does that sound inspiring? Do I want to grind it out? If I was to be rehired at my job tomorrow and the boss sat me down and said, all right, you're going to grind it out here at the next 20 years of ABC Corporation. That's your job, is to grind it. Would you be inspired? Would you want to wake up early and show up to work early and put in extra hours? And a lot of us are in that situation. So take some time, reflect on your life. You will not regret doing that. It's the best thing you can do. It's an investment into your future. If you've waited 5 or 10 years, if you've got some resentment, built up, if you've got some demons that you've got to overcome, if you're not feeling inspired and you're feeling like you don't have the resources, it's okay. It's 2020. Anything you want to know is literally at the click of a button. In fact, you don't even have to click a button anymore. You just go, hey Alexa, or hey Siri. You can ask the world whatever you need. Oh, she just kicked on when I said that by accident. So, go ahead. Take advantage of this opportunity. Reflect on your life. Make sure to build a life that you're proud of. Build a life that inspires you, that inspires your family. I can't wait to hear about it.